we are going to continue from the previous day. So yesterday we just saw about how to create a classes and how to create a classes, which means and how to call the classes from the other classes. Okay, fine. So all these things we just saw in yesterday. So today's session we are going to start with some basics of Java, which is nothing but how to create a Java methods and what is the syntax for Java methods, and what are the different variations, and what is method overloading, what is static method. Once we done everything, if we have a time, we can start our inheritance with object oriented programming. Okay, so these are all the things that we are going to do. And once again, let me, yeah, so if anyone wants to uh, ask your doubts, you can use the group or you can use this chat also. I think everyone can able to send the message. I made it available. And if you want to use any reactions, that is also possible. And if you want to speak, you can speak. I think it is enabled now. So yes, so try to mute it yourself always. If you want to ask your questions, you can ask your questions actually. Okay, so yes, fine. Okay, fine. So now the next thing is, as we know, Java methods. Okay, so yesterday we just saw about the simple about Java methods, but we will see one more time. Okay, so methods is nothing but it's like a reusable logic that whenever you want to use the logic one more time, then we can go for the um, this concept of this methods actually here. Okay, one second. Okay, so what is the syntax of methods in Java? Okay, so first of all, whenever we want to create a methods, we need to mention the return type. Okay, so return type means what type of data that you want to return from the method is considered as a return type actually. Okay, so return type we have to mention, then your method name. So it's all your wish, you can mention whatever the name that you want, and after the method name you can mention open bracket, close bracket, open curly brace, close curly brace. Okay, so this is the basic syntax for the methods in Java actually here. Okay, so now you can ask like what is the return type. So return type is nothing but data that you want to return. So as generally we all know, yesterday we just saw about the primitive data type. So boolean, we saw about boolean means it is like a it which has only true and false. Byte is just store the numbers, but as you can see here, it starts from minus 128 to 127, which means any variable with data type of byte can store from negative 128 to positive 127. Beyond that, it cannot able to store. For example, if you want to store 128 in this byte variable, it will not allow, it will throw the error. So like this chart is also there. If you want to store from minus 32,000 to positive 32,000, we can go for the chart actually here. Okay, so these are the primitive variable that are available in Java. So when you want to return any data, then you can use any of the data type. Okay, for example, you want to use number, you want to return the number, then what you mention in this syntax, you have to mention integer and your method name. It can be anything, like I am mentioning get number. Okay, so this is how you need to mention the method name. Okay, but now there is a one more scenario. So whenever you are mentioning a return type, it is important that this method should return the value. For example, this return. Okay, so it should always return the value, and one more thing, this return statement should always be the last line. So for example, if you want to write something here, it will throw the error, your program will not compile. So whenever you are writing the method with the return type, it is very important that your return should be in the always the last line. So for example, here I can mention like this actually here. Now this is kind of simple method can be added in Java. In case if you want to return decimal number, what you need to do, then you can create a one more method. For example, get price, then I can create like this, but as we know it is decimal number. Decimal number means what we need to do, we need to use double or float. So what I can use, I can mention double. Okay, double or float, anything is fine. So I can mention double. So double means it is yep, decimal number. Then I need to mention the decimal like this. So now I can able to return the decimal number from this method. Okay, so here if I mention integer means this method should always return the integer. We cannot able to return any other value. For example, I mentioned integer here. In the sense, if I do like this means it will throw the error. Okay, I cannot do like this actually here, which means it should always return the integer. If I am mentioning as the double, it always should return the double actually here. Okay, so I cannot able to return the integer actually here. So this is how we need to return the value from the Java methods. Okay, now the second question, you don't want to return anything. Okay, because I sometimes there will be a scenario that you don't want to return anything. Then what we need to do, we need to use, there is a keyword called void. Okay, so void means when you declare the method with void, you don't want to return anything here. So we can mention print message. Okay, so what it means is we are telling that this method will not return anything, so we are using a void. Void means you don't want to return anything, you can just keep the method. This is also fine in Java. Okay, so whenever you want to return the method, you can just mention the return type. If you don't want to return anything, you can just use the void actually here. Void is like a keyword in Java that will help you to make the method as not returnable, and this one you can use whatever you want. Okay, so you can mention the name, method name, whatever the name that you want. So in the left hand side you have to mention what is the return type of this method actually here. Okay, so this is how you need to define the methods, and in Java all the methods should come inside the Java class. Okay, so we cannot write methods separately, like in the Python and all we can able to write the method without class also, right? In JavaScript also we can able to write the method without class, but when it comes to Java, always these methods should come inside the class. Okay, is it understandable? So the first thing is methods should come inside the class, then these methods should have a return type. Without return type we cannot have any methods in Java, and method name should always come, because then only we can able to execute the methods actually here. Okay, so this is what the concept of this methods in Java. So based on this syntax only, yesterday we just created the methods within the Java class. Let me show you. Okay, so you can see here we created one method called print message, which is void. I don't want to return anything, and I'm using the method name, it can be anything, and I just mention a simple message actually here. Okay, so let me add I think yesterday itself we added one more method. You can see here. So okay, this method also will not will not return anything, so it just we are using this one. Okay, so let me create a one more method called subtraction in the same class with the return type. So for example, I want to return the integer, because when I am subtracting the value it gives me integer only, because when I am passing two integer number, subtraction it will give you again integer. So here what I am doing is integer subtraction, open curly brace, close curly brace, and here I will mention the same parameter. Okay, so it's a different method, so I can use this parameter same here also, and the same scenario, maybe I will just copy this one. Okay, so here I will mention minus actually here. Now as you can see here, still it is showing me the error. So why the compilation error is coming means, you can see here I need to use return statement, because I clearly mentioned that this method return integer, so it is very important that I should add the return statement here, return x actually here. Okay, so it's very important that return should be the last line. So in case if I am writing something here, for example, you know sysout, right? So system.out.println. Okay, so something I am writing, as you can see here it is throwing the error. The reason behind the error is, you can clearly see that I cannot able to put any code beyond the return. So return should be the last statement always in the function. So whenever you want to use a return actually here. Okay, so I will add a comment here. So here I will add error. Okay, should not, what the concept actually here. Fine. So yes, now you may have a, now you understood this one, right? So we have the, yesterday we created a method with the return type of void. Return type, I should not use return type, we can tell no return type. Okay, so now I am purposefully adding some return here. Okay, so maybe I am adding some return, some random number I am adding, maybe I will add x itself. Okay, so still it will throw the error. The reason behind the error is, we are telling to return the value, but we declared this method of void. So void means this method should not return anything, so because of that we are getting the error here. Okay, you understood the different scenario, right? The reason behind the error is because this method will not return anything. Here it will not throw any error because this method is should return something because of this scenario. Okay, so whenever you are writing any method or whenever you are reading any other people's code, it is very important that you should understand the return type of the method. Okay, so by reading this return type of the method, you can understand what is this method is going to do. Okay, and parameters. So parameters is again optional. Without parameters also we can define the functions. So as you can see, yesterday we have a function. So this method also return type, and you can see the method name, but this method is not having anything. Okay, this is also optional, that if you don't want to have any method with this parameter, we can able to define the parameter without the parameters also. Okay, so yes, any doubts guys regarding this methods and method name, parameters and all these things? Shall we go for next one? I think if you want to ask your doubts, you can use mic also. I think it is enabled. Otherwise you can ask your questions in the WhatsApp group or in the chat also. You can ask your questions if you cannot able to. Fine, thank you all. So now let's go for the next topic called okay, now we just saw about the two things, which is Java methods and return types. Now the third one is void also return type, that also we just saw. So the fourth one is method overloading. Okay, so this is also concept of the methods. We will see what is method overloading. Okay, so from that name itself you will understand method overloading means what? In the same name we are creating a multiple methods is considered as a overloading. Okay, so generally we used to mention overloading, right? I'm asking not in the technical term. Generally whenever we are speaking, we mentioned as overloading kind of thing, right? Overloading means in the same name we are trying to add some more methods. Okay, so you can consider this method. Okay, so again I'm going to copy paste the same method. I'm just copy paste. This is called overloading. Overloading means again and again you are adding the methods. Okay, but in Java or any other programming language, whenever you are doing the same signature, which means whenever you are creating the same method, it will throw the error because compiler does not know which method it has to call, because this is also same method with parameters, this is also the same method with parameters. Okay, so now to differentiate these things, we need to have one difference between these methods. Okay, what difference is? I am going to mention one more parameter here. So now this is allowable, which means if I am passing a 2 parameter to addition method, it will come to this place. If I am passing a 3 numbers, it will come to this place. So how it knows 2 parameters or 3 parameters? That will be taken care by the Java itself. You don't need to worry. Our thing is we need to just mention the parameter for method overloading. Okay, so we understood what is method overloading, right? It is very important interview question. Method overloading means the same method with different parameter. Okay, so this is called overloading. This is one of the very important interview question. Parameters, is it understandable? So this is called method overloading. So you can see here I am having the addition method here. Here also I am having addition method, but here I am having a 2 different numbers. Here I am having a 3 numbers. So what it means is here whenever I am passing the 2 numbers, it will come to this place. Whenever I am having a 3 numbers, it will come to this place. So here just I am adding some simple output. I can say 3 numbers. Okay, just for our understanding, I am adding a 3 numbers with the result. Okay, I think this is also not needed, right? Once again, yeah, we can see the value itself. Okay, so now yesterday we just passing this 2 number to my addition method. Now I am doing these things, which means along with this one I am adding some no number also. Now what will happen? The first 3 methods will come into this place. The the last method will come to this place, because we are having 3 different numbers. So these 3 different numbers will come to this place. Okay, this is called method overloading. If you see here, I am having a same method only. Okay, addition is the method name, but by passing 2 parameters, it will come to this place. By passing 3 parameters, it will come to this place. Let me run the program and you will understand. So if you see here, yeah, can you see this one, right? So now without any error I got the output. The first 3 methods will give me 24 and then 84 and 114. The last method will give me 159, which means 100 plus 14 plus 45, which is nothing but 159. Okay, so this is called method overloading. Method overloading means the same method with a different parameters is kinds of uh, method overloading actually, or we can say arguments also. Okay, so any parameters or arguments, different arguments. Okay, so for example we can have some other things also. Let me do one more thing. I'm just copy this method one more time, the same addition method. Now I need to have one different parameter. I will mention string also fine. String is also one more, not data type, but it's a Java class to use. Okay, instead of string, maybe tomorrow we will see the string. Today I will use double. Okay, so we know double, right? You know double, right? Double means it's a we can say db. Okay, so which means I want to sum all of these three numbers, two integer with one double. Okay, this is also possible in Java. So I will mention plus dbl I can mention. Okay, so dbl, it is asking me to casting. Okay, so don't get confused, just leave it actually here. So now I am just telling like I need to addition of two integers with one double number. Okay, this is also possible. So leave up this casting, we will see it later. But now while calling this addition method, let me copy paste this one. If I am passing any decimal numbers, still it works. As you can see here, I will mention 45.67. actually it is working fine. How it works means, because I have declared the method with two integer with one double number. So whenever I am passing two integer with double number, it will throw the error. Sorry, it will just executes. Okay, let me do one more scenario. Now I am just passing the different parameter. So for example, two numbers with one boolean value which is false. This is error actually here. You know why? Because we have the method to accept the integer, to accept the double. Okay, but we don't have any method to accept two integer with one boolean. Okay, so this is called Java strictly typed language, which means whenever you are calling the method, it should match the exact parameter. In case if you are passing a different parameter, it will throw the error. Okay, as it is tells that there is no method available to resolve this parameters. Okay, so is it understandable? So whenever you are calling the method, first we should understand what type of parameter that we need to pass. Accordingly we have to pass. Okay, so still if you want to create a methods with the same name, it is also possible. The concept is called as a method overloading, but it's very important that it should have a parameters. Okay, so this is what about the concept of method overloading in Java actually here. Yes, any other queries guys here, or anything that you want me to repeat? So regarding this method overloading and all these things. Okay, so if anyone wants me to repeat, just put it in the group, I will help you. Otherwise so I am just going little faster because you can do these things after the session. I will, as I told you, I will share the source code immediately to the same repository. You can find all the source code. You can even download also, but try to practice it. You can just refer the code, you can just practice it also. Okay, yes, any other queries here? So for your understanding only, each and every place I am just adding the comments, because whenever you are referring this code, it would be easy for you to refer the source code. Okay, so that is the reason I am just adding this comments again and again for your understanding. Okay, so here no method available for matching this params actually here. Okay, is it understandable? There is no method available to matching the parameters. Yes, so shall we go on to next one, or anyone wants me to repeat, or anyone wants me to tell these things one more time? Okay, fine. So can you guys just do this thing in your system just for 2 or 3 minutes? Okay, just to create one simple class with the simple addition method. Whatever I am doing, you can do the same thing and check whether method overloading is working fine or not. Can you just do this one? Just take 5 minutes and let me know whether it is working fine or not, because that would be easy for you to understand whether these things are working or not. At least just one simple program. Yeah, just take 2 more maybe 5 or 6 minutes. just to complete this only one implementation, because other things you can do it later. If you are doing, if you can able to do one example, other things you can able to do manually. That's what I'm telling. Okay, one person is asking about calling the method return type. I will tell you actually here. Just let us complete the task, then we can go for the next one. Okay, so next concept is, shall I go for next one? Anybody needs anything to help? So if you want to ask any questions, you can just use the WhatsApp group as of now. Otherwise, we will discuss on. You can use this chat also to ask your questions. Fine. So shall we go for next one? Anybody needs any help? Okay. So next topic we are going to see about the static methods. Okay. So as of now we just saw about how to define the methods and all these things. Maybe I could say static methods as well as static variables. I think that would be fine. Okay. First we will see static variables, then we can go for the static methods. Okay. First we will understand what is this static. Okay. So whenever we want to access any variables or methods in Java, we need to use object only, correct? Yesterday we just saw about these things. So as you can see here, if I want to call this method, I need to use object only. Okay. So whenever I want to call any properties inside the class, I need to create a object for the particular class, then only I can able to call the variables or methods. But if any property means I am telling about the variables or methods. If any property with the variables and methods, it has to be, if it is declared with the static, then you don't need the object. Okay, is it understandable? Again I am telling, if any property in the class declared with the static, then you don't need the object. That's it. This is the one liner you can able to remember as of now. So don't get confused with all the things. I am just telling, if any property, which means any variables or methods are declared with the static, then you don't need the objects. Okay, so let me show you that example actually here. So already I am having a class, okay, which we are using this class since yesterday. Here I am going to create a one simple variable outside of the method. Okay, inside the class, outside of the method, I will mention integer something like age equal to some 12 I am mentioning actually here. Okay, I created a variable with the integer data type. Okay. One second. Okay, yeah. So now I am mentioning a static actually here. Okay, so what it means is, now for this variable I don't need any object. That is what the advantage of the static actually here. Let me, as you can see here, we are using object for accessing the methods, right? Now I am using a sysout here. Sysout. I need to create some shortcut actually. Okay, so println, I need to mention what is the variable name. It's a age, right? Yeah, so age. So now this is possible only for the static variables, or we can say static properties. So I can say static variables does not need any object. Not only here, wherever you are seeing any static object, static properties, you don't need any object actually here. You can directly call it without any object actually. You should not use any object. That's what the meaning. Is it understandable? With the same example, I will create a one method also. Okay, here I am creating some method. So what is the method name? I can use as print city. Okay, print my city, open curly brace, close curly brace. For this method I am going to mention void actually here. Okay, now before the void I will mention static. Again this is optional. Okay, if you want you can use it, otherwise you can ignore it. So now whenever okay, now I have created a method. You know this syntax, right? I just added one more thing called static. This static is optional again. Okay, so now you may have a doubt like, why can't we use this static always? Because this is optional. You no need to add this static always. If you need, you can add the static, otherwise you can ignore it. Okay, so now here I will mention sysout. Okay, I will mention like sample city. Okay, so now what will happen, whenever I am calling this, whenever I want to call the method, I don't need the object. So here and all you can see if I want to call this addition method, I need to use object. But now if I want to call this print my city, you can directly call the method. Okay, so which means the reason is you people know static methods does not need object. The same thing here also you can able to do. Static methods does not need any object. You can directly call without any object. This is what static in the Java. I think Python also has the same concept with a different way of implementation, but the meaning of the static is you don't need the object. Without object you can able to call the any property. Okay, is it understandable, guys? Any doubts regarding the static? This is one important interview question in Java. Static means one liner. Without creating the object we can able to call. That's it. You don't need to worry about all the things. If you are using without static means you need to use the objects like this. For example, if I am creating a one more variable like integer age 2, okay, so some different number. Now if I want to call this variable age 2, then I cannot able to call directly. For example, here also I will show the example. If I am just to copy paste this one, so if I am mentioning age 2 here, it will throw the error because this is not the static. Okay, error because we can say non-static variable. Okay, so non-static variable should be called with object actually here. Is it understandable? So that is the reason it is throwing the error. Okay, so we should not call non-static variable without any object. Okay, you guys understood the difference between static and non-static, right? So just one liner, static property, any variable or any methods, it should be called without object, but non-static variable or non-static method should called with the object. Okay, this is what the meaning between the static and non-static. Okay, so is it understandable? Any doubts, guys? Okay, thank you, Tintu. Thank you, Shivash. Okay, so now I am having a static property within the class, which means this age property, line number 4, the static variable, as well as the static method in the line number 38. Both are in the same class, so I am just calling this directly without any object. What if I want to call the static property which is in the other class? Okay, so as of now I don't want to use this main class, the class which I am using, because it has lot of things. So I am creating a two different classes now. Okay, so inside the source I am creating a one package. So package is nothing but it's like kind of folder. Okay, so as of now just leave it. So we will discuss about the package tomorrow. So I will mention static sample. Okay, so this is the package I am creating. Inside this package I am going to create a two different classes. Okay, so one class name I can say class 1 sample. This is my first class. Okay, you guys understood it? I am having a two different classes in Java. So one is class 1 sample, and I am going to create a one more class called class 2 sample. Okay, so it's all for your understanding. So in general we should not mention like this. Okay, so let me split these files for your understanding. Okay, so as you can see here I am having a splits actually here. Okay, so now I am having a one class 1 sample, class 2 sample actually here. Okay, so in the class 2 sample I am going to create a one static variable. I can say static. Okay, I will mention price, which means double price equal to some whole number. It's fine, right? Now I created a one static variable here. Back to the class 1 actually. So you people know whenever you want to start the execution I need the main method. So I am creating a main method inside this one. Okay, so it's created. So now what I am going to do, I want to call this price inside this class. Generally what we will do, we have to create an object, correct? But as we know, for the static variable we don't need the object. Then how can I able to create it? So in order to create, we need to use class name. So what is the class name of this price? Class 2 sample. So I can use class 2 sample dot price. Okay, this is how you need to call this method actually here. Sorry, static variable from other class. I will just add a comment here, calling static variable from other class. Okay, same class means you can directly call the method, but other class means we need to just use the class name for calling this thing. So maybe I will just use double here to assign the value d equal to this one. Okay, so this is how we need to call. Is it understandable? Anyone having anything that you want to discuss? Okay, so this is how you need to do. So again I am telling, so in the left side I am having a one class, right side I am having another class. In the right side only I am creating a one static variable. Now in the left side class I want to call this variable. So what I did is I am just using the class name right side class name, which is class 2 sample dot price. I don't need any object. This is the concept of static. Static means we don't need the object. Okay, so and I will add this one. So no need of object. Okay, so this is what the static property. Same goes for methods also. Okay, so in case if I want to create a method in the right side class, I want to create static void print. Okay, so print here I am going to add sysout. Once again, system dot out dot, I will mention something. Now if I want to call this method, generally what we need to do, we need to create the object for this class and we will call the method. But for this static method you don't need to create any object. By using the class name itself we can able to call class name dot print message. That's it, it works. So I can add a comment here for your understanding. So no need of object actually here. Okay, that's it. This is what about the meaning of this static property. Whenever you are seeing a static, without any doubt you can just mention that you don't need create a object. That's it. Okay, so then by using the class name you can able to call the variables as well as call the methods. That's it. So any doubts guys regarding this static property in Java? Okay, in case if you want to pass the parameter, that and all same only. Okay, there is no much difference. So whatever we are using in the previous one, the same way we have to use it. That and all will not be changeable. For example, this print message is having one parameter, then what we need to do, we need to pass the parameter. Okay, that is never changeable. Okay, yeah, Tintu, yes, I think Tintu is asking one question that all these things are same package. Yes, all these things are same package only. Can we call those from one package to another one? Yes, it can be possible. There is no doubt. Only thing is we need to use public actually here. I didn't mention anything. If you want to use, you can mention public. Still it is possible. Yes, you can. Okay, so guys, just to take 5 minutes to implement this static concept. So the same thing, whatever I did it, right? So create a two classes, left side one, right side one. In the right side, create a one static variable and create a one static method. In the left side, by using the main method, you can just call this variable as well as call the method and check whether it is compiling or not. Can you just do this one? Just take 5 minutes and do this task actually here. Okay, the same thing, whatever you are seeing in the screen, can you try to implement it? So I will just start the clock. So now I can able to call this method, which is called some random number. Okay, so you can clearly understand now it is not showing any error. Why it is not showing any error? Because this b is extended of a, so I can able to call. If I run this b, you can see output everything clearly. You can see this one, right, which is all the values are coming from the a class only. So this is called inheritance. Inheritance means I am just inheriting the property a from b. So whatever the value available in the a, now it is available in the b also, b class. Okay, but now I created an object for the b class, but it is available by using this B object I can able to call the A classes actually here. Okay, so this is what the concept of inheritance. This is very simplest way of inheritance. There is two more topics also available in the object oriented programming that we will see on tomorrow. Okay.